Yo, welcome to Deep Dive Through Music. Thank you to all the new subscribers, it's greatly appreciated. If you love the content, please share the videos with some of your friends. On this channel we'll be taking closer looks into the history behind some of the events leading up to our favourite music moments throughout our time. Our focus today will be on the iconic rapper, the DOC, and we'll look at how one accident stopped the DOC from becoming the greatest rapper ever. The DOC was born and raised in Dallas, Texas, and those surroundings is what shaped an early start into his rap career. Around 1986, the DOC, or Doc T as he was known at the time, had gone to a party in Dallas and had started performing one of his raps in front of everyone. This caught the attention of a particular guy called DJ Rock. DJ Rock noticed the talent DOC had and asked him to be a part of his group called Feel Fresh Crew, which DOC instantly agreed to. The crew started working on their first album and made their hit single Hate to Go to Work, which became very popular locally around the Dallas music scene. DJ Rock said in an interview, "I had just bought an SP12 sampling drum computer from when I was with Dr. Dre, and I wanted to do it myself, so I did the beat for the whole song." Before making a name for himself in Dallas, DJ Rock had been to LA and had done some DJ work at a club called Eve After Dark, and this led to Rock and Dr. Dre meeting up and learning how to DJ for the iconic group World Class Wrecking Crew. Dr. Dre was starting to gain some traction for his producing with the World Class Wrecking Crew, and Dr. Rock asked Dre to come down to Dallas and produce for the Feel Fresh Crew. Dr. Dre helped produce other songs for the group. However, when Dre heard the DOC rap, he told him, "You cold-blooded, if yours on the West, we'd be rich." Dr. Dre tried to persuade the DOC to move to LA and become a solo act. However, DOC refused as he didn't want to leave the group behind. The songs that the Feel Fresh Crew had recorded were not sonically the best, so Dr. Rock took the Feel Fresh Crew to LA for 1 week to record at the same studio that Eazy-E was recording at. The new versions of the songs wound up being put into a compilation album called NWA and the Posse, which included early versions of NWA. The DOC has said in numerous interviews that at 18 years old, he was on the verge of being kicked out of his sister's house and being enrolled into the army, which the DOC was fully against as he wanted to pursue music. DOC told Real Tune TV, "About 6 months later, my sister tried to send me to the army, and then I rethought that offer from Dr. Dre. I made that call, jumped on the bird, and the rest is history." As soon as the DOC made it to LA and hooked up with Dr. Dre, around 3 to 4 days later, he was in the studio with the NWA members. The DOC wrote We Want Easy within 10 to 15 minutes, and Eazy-E recorded the verse the next day. Around a week later, the song became an instant hit around LA and was being played numerous times on mainstream LA radio, which at the time was unheard of, as rap music was mostly played on underground radio stations. DOC said in a recent interview, they hadn't figured out how to take those same images and write a record that you could play on mainstream radio. So that's what made me the most influential person for that space and time. Because We Want Easy was starting to blow up, they decided to shoot a music video for the song. However, the DOC was not included in the video at all. Even after being left off the music video and being left off the writing credits for that successful song, the DOC still continued chilling with NWA for months in the studio, writing songs for their upcoming debut album. Also by this time, the DOC had left the Feel Fresh Crew and had changed his rap name from Doc T to the DOC. On August 8th, 1988, NWA released their legendary debut album, Straight Out of Compton. The album blew up worldwide due to its gritty content, hardcore lyrics, and also the it factor that each artist showcased on the songs and music videos. Due to the success of the album, NWA were able to tour around the country alongside other artists such as Salt-N-Pepa, Too Short, JJ Fad, and Kid and Play. This tour also enabled the DOC to be the opening act for every city they traveled to. DOC told Vlad TV in an interview, "I got the first 7 minutes of NWA set, no matter where we are. It was the best, the greatest, because I didn't even have a record out." DOC was touring with the most popular rap group at the time, mastering his mic skills on tour, and also being around other artists from around the country. However, he still felt like an outsider, because every time there was interviews or promotions for NWA, they always got the camera time and all the shine, even though DOC had put in just as much work as them. DOC has said numerous times, "It bothered me, and it made me feel like they were trying to squeeze me out." During the NWA tour, the DOC started working on his debut solo album. The DOC would write his songs, and anytime NWA had a break from their tour, Dr. Dre and DOC would go to the studio and work on the album. The DOC states that he admired what Rakim did on the East Coast lyrically, and says that he hadn't heard anyone rap like that on the West. So the DOC wanted to stamp his place in hip-hop in his own way, his own style, and this was his time. On August 1st, 1989, the DOC released his debut solo album, No One Can Do It Better. The album was an instant hit and reached #1 on the Billboard hip-hop charts for 2 weeks straight. This was DOC's time to shine by himself, and this album showcased his talent for the world to see. As an MC, the DOC rarely cursed, which at the time was virtually unheard of. However, he showed more of a lyrical style, not talking about guns, drugs, and violence. He wanted everybody to know how great he was and rose to the occasion by rapping effortlessly on various tracks throughout the album. Many of the songs detailed DOC's obsession with creating something truly unique and being the person who helps hip-hop take its next evolutionary lyrical step with his skills. My personal favourite song, The Formula, showcases this braggadocious and self-revering attitude. Music website Albumism says, "The song is a clinic by the DOC, as he flows effortlessly and expounds on his ability to generate transformative, dope lyricism, rapping, creative so I'll never be regarded as a regular, more than just a little bit better than my competitors. You should never underestimate the fashion I hold for the stage, whether I'm cooling or thrashing." The final song, the grand finale, features Ice Cube, Eazy-E and MC Ren alongside the DOC, and they all go bar for bar on the song, with Dr. Dre and DJ Yella providing the instruments in the background. All 4 rappers excelled on this track, but DOC made sure no one could outshine him. This was the perfect grand finale, as it was the last time ever that all 5 NWA members were credited on a song before Ice Cube eventually left the group. The DOC rode the wave of the success of this album and all the accolades that came with it. However, one weekend when filming 2 of his music videos for The Formula and Beautiful But Deadly, the DOC was exhausted as the shoot lasted 2 days. DOC struggled staying awake, and someone offered him narcotics to keep him awake. After the shoot, DOC was partying and decided to drive home, even though he was drunk and heavily under the influence of other things. DOC fell asleep at the wheel and his car veered off the freeway. He was thrown out the rear window, slamming face first into a tree. His injuries required 21 hours of plastic surgery, and he spent 2.5 weeks in the hospital. He could not speak for about a month, and his vocal cords were damaged, which made it impossible for him to develop into the superstar he was destined to be. DOC said in an interview, "At that time, I was moving so fast. Life was moving fast. Eazy's project, NWA's project, and then mine. All this stuff was happening so quickly for a kid coming from Dallas, Texas. I do believe wholeheartedly that if I had not had that crash, I probably wouldn't be here today." But even after the accident, DOC remained close to Dr. Dre, and when Dre left NWA, the DOC followed him, and both, alongside Suge Knight and Dick Griffey, were all instrumental in the creation of Future Shock Records, which was later renamed Death Row Records. The DOC remained by Dre's side at Death Row and was essential in helping develop the label's talent roster, such as Snoop Dogg, Daz and Corrupt, Warren G, and Nate Dogg. DOC told Vlad TV, "Being in that state of mind, it helped me grow close to Dre and trying to help give guys like Snoop advice. If I couldn't have it, then they were gonna have it." Although at his prime, the DOC had grace, elocution, literary richness, and today is greatly respected by the hip-hop giants that came after him, DOC is quoted as saying, "All my success was a G.O.D. thing." This is how one accident stopped the DOC from becoming the greatest rapper ever.